So as the football world continues to be on a football lockdown, I thought I'd take a little look at what the state of football would look like in 10 years' time. But in this video, we're going to be taking a look at one team in particular, and that team is Aston Villa. That's right, folks, back once again with another video. Today we're going to take a little look at Aston Villa, where they are right now and where they're going to be in 10 years' time. That's right. Put your bets now. Do you think they're going to be still in the Premier League? Do you think they're going to be in the Championship? Do you think they're even going to be in League One? Will there be any shock surprises in 10 years' time? But let's have a little look at what we're working with right here, right now. So let's punch it in Aston Villa and have a little gander just to refresh, just in case you're not an Aston Villa fan. So this is the state of flux. Of course, you guys got yourselves promoted last season over in the real world to the Premier League. You've got a reasonably good reputation, around about 3.5 stars with Dean Smith in charge. Your main man or your captain is Jack Grealish, and he is, of course, your key player. James Chester, your vice captain, and Louis Barry is your hot prospect. Who start West Brom, Barcelona? Yeah. Controversial bit of stuff there. A quick reminder of the team. So, of course, Jack Grealish is your main man, £32 million rated midfielder. Can play anywhere across the midfield, right, left, centre, whatever. You got John McGinn as well, defensive midfielder. Can also push a little bit forward. Tyrone Mings as well, England international. Then you got Trezeguet and Mabwanta Samanta. Now, this is the updated sort of updated database. I'm sure there's ways to start. Well, there is ways to have started this where you suspend the transfer window for the first, so they have stuck with the players that they've got. But we're going to plough forward, clean whistle, let it go, let Dean Smith decide if it's a brand new, like this season never happened. So, yeah, I'm going to fast forward 10 years' time. You're currently sitting in 19th in the Premier League. Do you think you're going to be better or worse than that? I think you're going to be better. I think Aston Villa have got the foundations to be something decent. Just to recap, this has been the sort of the trend for Aston Villa, a mainstay Premier League side until they dipped in 2015, 2016. They spent a couple seasons in the Championship before bouncing back last year. So, where are they? 10 years' time. Let's waste no more time and have a little gander. Okay, folks, here we go. Into the future. We are 31st of May, 2029. Where are Aston Villa? Get your bets in now. What we want to see is Premier League. They're in the Premier League. They're 17th, so they've upped themselves at least 2 positions right here, right now. So that's how we look at it. So this is the state of play. Frank de Boer is now in charge. Of course, Frankie, formerly, what was his managerial career like? How do I have a look at it again? Milestones. There it is. Formerly of, well, according to this, Dutch manager. He was the Dutch manager in the real world, I believe. Inter Milan manager, Crystal Palace manager, Atalanta manager. So in this, he's Atalanta manager. Maybe he's not. Maybe he's not the Dutch manager. Maybe that's Koeman. I get them all muddled up. Anyway, so he starts off at Atalanta. Then he made the switch in 2025 to become Aston Villa manager. And don't look into it. We'll have a little look. So according to this, they've been since the start of the simulation, they've been in the Premier League, and they've been there for the majority of time, except they dipped here. They got relegated in the 2025-26 season. Bounced back at the first attempt, and in their first season back, they finished 16th. Dropped back a spot now to 17th. So, who's still there? Let's have a wee gander now at the team. This is the glorious Aston Villa right here, right now, with Martin Brasbrenning, the most expensive player. He's a 26-year-old fella, £15 million rated. It could be a regen in a year, so we don't really know anything about him. He's come from wherever. So look at the players around about the age of 28 or so, and there's not many of them. I think this guy's probably the one we may know of. Oliver Bastian-Meyer, who originally starts the game off at Bayern. Stopped up by Watford for 5.25 million. Has an okay few seasons. Villa spent a bit more money on him, 18.75 million. We'll have a look at the boys in question in a minute. The Grealish, McGinn and co. See where they are. Conor Gallagher is here. He's 29 years of age. Only 6.25 rated. If you don't know who he is, he starts his life out in Chelsea. I know him from his days at Swansea and also Charlton. He had a loan spell there. Box standard player. He did really set the place on fire. 21 million you spent on him. Bit of a gamble there. Any other names that stand out? There's not many familiar names. Carlos Sanchez. No, that's a regen as well. So let's have a little look, closer little look at the competition. See if you won any glory, any silverware along the way. So Premier League, no. Nowhere near. The best, of course, was runners-up in 1960. When I'm talking about the best, I'm on about the Premier League era. I'm not talking about when you actually won bling back then. FA Cup, no. You were runners-up back in 2015. The League Cup, no. Nothing. No major silverware. Of course, you won some under-23 stuff down here, but that doesn't really matter. But let's have a look at the leagues then. Let's have a little look at how we got on. So, 15th in the first season, 12th. 9th was your best finish. Look at this, 19th, 24 points. Only 24 points on that season. You did bounce back at the first attempt. 16th spot last season, and now finishing in 17th spot. Now, of course, what you really want to know is who's been in charge all this time. Well, to be honest with you, you've not had many changes of manager. Dean Smith was in charge for 7 years. Well played, Aston Villa, for not getting rid of him. He was eventually sacked on the 26th of October 2025. Frank de Boer came in and has been there since, just knocking on 4 years now. Doing okay for himself as well. He won the league, he won the championship for Aston Villa, so kudos to him. Let's take a look at the transfers. In the first initial season, Manuel Lanzini was brought in from Manchester City. And Neil Taylor was sold to CSK Moscow. Moving on to the next season. £40 million spent, £9 million coming in. That money's coming in from Kalinic. He went to Frankfurt. I don't see where all the other money went. Marvelous Nakamamba went to ATM. That's probably out in Brazil. The money spent was spent on Adam Onunes from Napoli. Alex Mighton from Forest. A couple of other players in there, Matt West, Valentin Antonov. Again, players that are very familiar. Not. 21-22 season, a big money spent from Aston Villa, £72 million in total. George Baldock from Sheffield United was brought in. James Justin, formerly of Luton, coming from Leicester City. Zirkzee from Tottenham, whoever he is. Ethan Townsend, a bit of chunk of change on that guy. Aston players gone out, £45 million sold. Scott Hogan went to Ludo Gretz. Tyrone Mings went to Brighton for £14.5 million. El Ghazi went to Olympiacos on loan. Wesley and the like. Bjorn Eagles went to Salzburg for £6 million. William Prost Inktong went to Fulham for £10 million. And Jota went to Gijon. The next season, £71 million spent, £57 million brought in. Oliver Burke from West Brom, £9.5 million. Chris Willock was brought in from Fulham for nearly £20 million. And Matthias Borges from Leeds, just shy of £16.5 million. Players gone out. Trezeguet went to PAOK for £13.5 million. Konza went to Rennes. Ismaila Soro went to Huddersfield for a chunk of change as well. And some other boys, Taggart, whatever his name, went back to Fulham for £7.25 million. Moving to the next season, £91 million spent, only £35 million recouped. Oliver Burke didn't spend much time there. He went to Stan for £6.5 million. Ned, whatever his name is, went to Salzburg for £6.5 million. Callum O'Hare went to West Ham for £9.5 million. Wesley went to Bristol City for £3.9 million. And El Hazi went to Al Ain. You guys brought in Dominic Thompson from Brentford. Maybe Dean Smith using his old Brentford Day connections out there. Anton Nekadanyantov. So you bought him on June and you flogged him in January. So you weren't happy with him, or he just didn't settle down. Joe Roden was born from Crystal Palace. Josip Juranovic from Galaxy as well. No real superstar standouts, but still no sign of Grealish moving in or out. Well, if he's not in there, we'll bring him up. Lars Mousset was brought in for Sheffield United for £27 million. That's £103 million spent in this season. Carlos Sanchez from Manchester City. Konstas Timosanktas was brought in as a left back. He's now at Southampton. You spent a bit of money on him, £23 million. As for the players gone out, £137 million sold. Valentin Antonov went to Real Madrid. Big chunk of change there, £53 million received. Marvin Wilson went to Watford. Joe Roden went to Brighton. Another fantastic signing that didn't spend that long. Ethan Townsend gone. Samantha went to Schalke. He was one of the players that was quite expensive at the start of this. Josip Juranovic went to Norwich. Moving on. 2025-26 season, £75 million spent, £21 million recoup. Ben White was brought in from Newcastle. He's the young defender. No England caps. He's actually still at Aston Villa. Brighton want him back. But I don't know if you're going to give it to him. Jack Bruce from West Brom. Angel Gomez, formerly Man United, I believe. Was at Newcastle's books for a little bit. Villa spent 24 million. He actually sold him for a bit of profit to Leicester City. Players coming out. Chris Willock went to Sausulio. Lars Musset went out on loan to Hamburg. Not much money. Omar Idrissi went to Greece. Yeah, not much money generated in that season. Moving on to the 2026-27 season. 70 million spent, £258 million received. We'll have a look at that in a minute. Conor Gallagher, 21 million. We already looked at him. Jota went to Crystal Palace. So where's the money coming from in here? So Ortega went to Swansea. John McGinn went to Brighton. He's actually at Huddersfield now. Let's have a look at his story. Brighton for 15 million, sold to Huddersfield. Genoa took him on for a season loan. That's where he is right now. Angel Gomez to Leicester. Constance Timosankis went to Thingamajig. Not the Aaron Ramsey. Surely there must be a new Aaron Ramsey. Yeah. It's Aston Villa Aaron Ramsey. Louis Barry went to Bournemouth. He never really hit the heights. He's still young though. 25 years of age. He's out at Bournemouth. Let's have a quick look at how he got on at Villa. So, not really doing very well. A couple of double-digit seasons though for Bournemouth, so he may be on the turn to be something decent. Still no sign of Grealish. This fella, £41 million, rising to 50. He's not really set the place on fire, has he? Into the penultimate season here, £84 million spent. The money was spent on a whole bunch of little bits and pieces. Nothing really standing out here. As for the players gone out, Jota, I don't know, I think it looks like he might have had two Jotas at some stage. Lisa Musset went to Al Jazeera. Yeah, not much getting on there in there. Grealish, I'm worried. I think Grealish might have either gone on a free or something like that. So let's have a quick scooch at that. Released players. Now, where the heck's Jack Grealish? Well, Jack Grealish. Never really made it as an England international, but what happened to him? Aston Villa. Why didn't I see that transfer? Maybe it was because it was so small. I was expecting a bigger fee. So we went to Real Betis. Of course, the names in this, you can't really say the real names, copyright and all that kind of jazz. So it didn't really explode, to be honest with you. It's kind of steady Eddie seasons, of course. You're glad to see that he stayed at Aston Villa for as long as he did. So that's good. Good loyalty there by Jack Grealish. But yeah, that's the state of play with the team. Quick overview of any records broken or stuff like that. Records overview. Let's have a little look. So most points in a season. Your biggest attendance still not broken. So highest transfer fee paid was 27 million for Nicolo Di Bonatento. Is that true? It is true. Goodness. So you didn't spend that much money straight up. So let's take a look at the top goal scorers over the years for Aston Villa. So your best player ever was Carlos Fernandes, banging in 16 goals in one season. He actually was picked up by 11 million from Sevilla, then later sold to Shakhtar Donetsk. He had one really good season. The other ones were really bit part seasons, if we're honest with you. Most league goals, same sort of deal. Assist maker, the key assist maker. It looks like Matthias Bojusz, who is a Polish guy, a real player as well, now at Beijing. You guys picked him up for 16.25 million from Leeds, who picked him up for a bit of a penny from a Polish team. You then sold him to China for 34 million. Good bit of business there. And again, yeah, he had a superstar standout season, 7.24 average with a good, assist tally. Your best player ever was that same fella, 7.19. He had back-to-back good seasons, but really, there's no one's coming out of the water and being absolutely phenomenal. So your overall best 11, according to this, after 10 years' time, we'll have who's this? James Tizard between the sticks, James Justin at right back, Target at left back, Carlos Sanchez, the regen, Antonov at centre back as well, McGinn, Bojusz, Grealish, Idrissi, Onus and Hudot up top. Any of those names familiar for you? Of course, Grealish, McGinn, Target as well. And James Justin are names that are familiar with me. Ben White makes the bench. Stephen Smith, anyone else? Samantha as well, scoring 50 goals in his tally, so that's not too shabby. Let's have a quick look, season by season, quick look. I'm just going to blitz through these. Samantha leading the line, of course. This is a familiar lineup. Lanzini gets in the squad as well. No place for Grealish. Maybe had a bit of a injury-torn season. He makes the bench, just 14 games, so that's pretty concerning. Next up, second season again. No Grealish. No Grealish is in there. It's down here with alongside McGinn. Much better. Samantha leading the line. Heaton between the sticks still. Change of goalkeeper. Safanov comes in. Again, Grealish makes the squad, as does McGinn. Roland leads the line this time, scoring 9 goals in this season. Next season, Samantha's back up top, scoring 12 goals in the season. Grealish once again, 6.89 average. Safanov between the sticks. James Justin at right back. Antonov, of course, 40 appearances, most games for him in that season. Moving into 23-24 season, Fernandez leading the line, 16 goals that season. What else we got looking at here? 7.02 average from Adam Unas. Schlanger between the sticks. That's German for snake. Louis Barry leads the line on this one. 7 goals for him. 7.03 average. Carlos Fernandez into attacking midfield with 10 goals. Schlanger between sticks again. Grealish nowhere to be seen on this one. McGinn, though, is in the starting 11. Grealish comes back to the bench on this one. 2025-26 season. McGinn is no longer there. Roddick between the sticks. As a former Fulham goalkeeper, now at over in Qatar. James Justin, Ben White on the bench. Moving on to 2026-27 season, Mousset makes the team. He gets into the starting 11, the best 11. The next season, Brash Sprenging is in there. Ben White is in a defensive midfield slot. Tizar between the sticks, who makes that place his own for the next season as well. And this is the final season, if I'm honest with you here. Smith, White, Fernandez, Tizard. So there you have it, folks. So in 10 years' time, Aston Villa will be a team that will be struggling a little bit out in the Premier League with Frank de Boer in charge. But you'll be pretty much, for the most part, a 10-year Premier League team. Would you be happy with that? I'm pretty sure of it. I think you've made some a little bit wonky transfers in there, but to be honest with you, I think you're doing very, very well. Your reputation has pretty much stayed the same. You're classed as very, very rich. Of course, you're going to be rich if you're going to be in the Premier League for 10 years. But that, my friends, is it. Tomorrow we'll be back again. This time we're going to take a look at 18th place Bournemouth. See where they are in 10 years' time. Have a little guess. I'm saying Championship Club. Thanks again for watching. Please like, share, and most importantly, hit the subscribe button to keep you bang up to date with all things Blackburn Rovers related, Championship related, football related. We've got it all covered right under one roof. And while I still have you, please be sure to check out some of the old videos scattered along here. I hope.